the Rings of Power. That's right. There's a lot of issues and stuff going on with the show, but we're going to talk about it here. A lot of good, maybe some bad, maybe a lot of bad. Spoilers up ahead.
I think a lot of good. I think the bad's minimum.
Spoilers up ahead. Let's go.
Into it.
Welcome back to AsArt. My name is Nick, and I got Pecos here with me. He's an amazing, talented artist. Go check him out on Instagram. Pecos with a 0. By the way, we love Lord of the Rings here. You know, the Shire is burning, so Mordor it is. We have cool shirts on AsArt.space. We covered the animated Lord of the Rings series and compared it to the live action all the way through, breaking it down. Totally worth a watch on the playlist. And we dabbled with deepfakes, recasting different characters for the Lord of the Rings. We're big Lord of the Rings fans here, but now the Rings of Power, the most expensive show / movie ever produced by Amazon.
And you know what? It shows. I actually really
visually,
like it.
It's stunning.
Oh my gosh.
It's by far the best looking series ever. And it's better looking than a lot of movies out there.
Like when the elven ship was going to Valinor and the clouds parted and I'm like, holy crap. Like I was like, right?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
So let's just go through the show. I honestly, I was a little bit bored, but there's things I liked, there's things I didn't like. And
wait a minute, you were bored?
I was just not attached to the characters. And it felt like they were just throwing me stuff I already knew. Like I saw female Frodo and Sam, and then I'm sorry,
okay,
it's gonna go down from here.
Nori and Poppy.
Nori and Poppy. Right, yeah, here. Frodo, Sam. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. It's all right. Let's just start from the beginning. So Galadriel. Well, actually, there was a really cool epic like history lesson at the beginning, which was so beautiful, which I'm bummed it was only 2 minutes. I wish I saw more of the creation of the world, more cool backstories, more of that, because that went by a little too fast for my liking, especially because we spent so much time in the first episode doing stuff I really was interested in. I would have been really interested in some more back lore stuff, but it was all good. It was beautiful, epic battle scenes and all that stuff. And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Then we got Galadriel with her team climbing the Great Wall in Game of Thrones. I mean, not the Wall of Ice from Game of Thrones. What? There was a wall.
It was called Nordwaith.
No, Nordwaith. Yeah, it's a frozen wall in the north. And then we get the plot to our story, right? We get the mission. Like she needs to find Saruman. She's on his trail, kind of thing, right? And then I got a lot of Moria vibes from that sequence.
You're right. Like icy Moria vibes.
Yes, icy Moria vibes. And see, I have some issues, and one of my issues was one of my favorite scenes in the Fellowship is in Moria, where it takes the whole Fellowship together as a team to take down a cave troll.
Right.
Galadriel does it with like these quick little cuts to different points, and it's so super smooth and stuff. And I was just like, oh, come on.
Okay, two things to that.
It's like, come on.
2 things to that. One is, if I remember correctly, the cave troll is bigger than this frost troll.
Ooh, that frost troll was huge.
Yeah, it was kind of tiny. It was kind of tiny.
Oh.
Now, the other thing is that this is the Second Age, Nick, and people are just more badass in the Second Age.
Oh, you had freaking Gandalf there, and Aragorn, and Legolas.
Like, if we talk about it, like, because we covered the Silmarillion, right?
Yeah, okay.
A little bit. Now, like, we know that Tolkien's sort of mythos is derived from this sense that, you know, things degrade over time. Like, things don't get better as into the future, they get worse.
Yeah.
Right. And so is the character of the people and the heroes. Right. And so, like, you know, Galadriel, she's still alive, like in the Third Age, but like, you know, still like the Second Age is like when we've got like Numenor, we've got like the elves are really badass, you know? So like,
but Gandalf's supposed to be pretty badass.
He is. And that's the thing though. I'm very curious. So right now he's called the Stranger.
Oh, so do you think that's Gandalf?
I don't know. That's the thing. I want to say it's Gandalf, but I'm withholding judgment because there's still technically 4 others.
They're definitely teasing us it's Gandalf. One, isn't Gandalf the wielder of the flame of Udu or something like that? Like, or he's like wield of the
flame of Undun.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. But so, and he's surrounded by fire, and he comes in by fire, right? So it's like, okay,
that's true, and it's not hot to the touch.
And I see the flames, right? And then we also see him talk to bugs. And they do what he commands. And when he gets angry or confused, you get that Bilbo Baggins. You know,
that's true. You've got a lot of parallels to Powers.
Baggins, you know.
I don't know how to describe it. In
it's like all
like
the light goes away and it goes dark. You know, it's like a dark bubble. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
so
I'm getting Gandalf vibes for sure.
We're definitely
from him.
seeing some stuff we've seen before. Yeah,
really tempting us with Gandalf vibes. But okay, so that was the issue I had with the cave troll, and then her team does not want to go on. So she gets called back to the Elven capital, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then that's when they're like, we have to get rid of her, because if we don't get rid of her, things are going to get worse. I'm like, this is so stupid. The king has to be smarter than this, right?
So
that was bugging me.
So the king's name is Gil-galad.
Gil-galad was stupid. Like, I'm so sure, like, let's just ignore the problem for now. Like,
Yeah. Well,
they're going to bug me. Like, I know they're trying to push the story forward, but it's like, you can't, I don't know. It just bugged me.
No, I think it was Elrond that made the point during the council, but he was saying that it's, you know, if Galadriel is on a mission to, like, she's convinced, right, that there's that you know, Sauron is still lurking, right? Is that it'll just become a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, what if you don't, right? Like, it'll just consume you. This will just be your life, right? And like, I forget his exact words, but I was like, all right, like that makes sense. And so, like, because it's also politically inconvenient for her to still be here with her attitude, right? Gil-galad made a political decision. And he's like, hey, you know what? You're a part of this super awesome team that, like, serviced the realm and stuff and all of Elfkind. So you get to go back to Valinor, to the Undying Lands. Yeah. Right?
But,
you know?
Yeah, there was just something funky too, because, like, afterwards they're like, oh, he is still alive. And he is out there. Like, you know, they acknowledge that he is out there after they send him away, which is kind of like, okay, so they want to take credit for destroying him or something. Like, I don't know.
So it's kind of a cheap shot.
Yeah, that was just like, that was just super weird. And shout out, young Elrod is young Ned Stark. I was like, where is that actor from? I'm like, oh my gosh, that's young Ned Stark in the flashback.
That's right.
I was like, I know this face. So we're getting some crossover finally. Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings crossover.
We're gonna get some universe crossovers.
Even though we got that already, you know, with Boromir and Ned Stark. But
that's true.
Were you okay with the short hair for the elves?
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't like the 80 poof
as
look.
long as they have the pointy ears.
The 80s poof look just was throwing me off like crazy. I thought we were
which character?
For like the elves, you know, like, you know, they're like, oh, hello. They have like the hair poofed up. Like Elrod was throwing me off. What's his name? The guy that
Elrond doesn't look that bad. He doesn't look like
what's the guy's name that makes the rings?
British naval officer or anything like that.
Yes, and then the guy who's gonna make the rings of power.
Celebrimbor.
Yeah, he also had that wavy, like, you know, short hair look, and I was just like, okay, like, I get it. Maybe it was a thing in the Second Age, but
I like it. I think it fits. I think it fits with the elven aesthetic.
You know what it reminds me of, though?
What?
The Russian Lord of the Rings. By the way, if you guys go watch the Russian Lord of the Rings,
don't you dare speak its name. Don't you bring up that old darkness, Nick.
Okay. But yeah, you know, I'm obviously playing it up a little bit more than I should be. Everything, but yeah, you know, the pacing felt so stretched, and I don't know if it's because they're trying to do like a Game of Thrones thing where there's multiple different storylines that they want to converge at one point, kind of thing. Because we're so used to, like, follow the group across. We're all walking left to Mordor. We're all going this way. Like, everyone's kind of in the same motion in Lord of the Rings, where it's very much like, oh, we're all around the map. That's why we have a map to show you where everything's at, and we're all gonna connect at the intersection somewhere.
So I think that's because like modern day narrative structure is a lot more disjointed.
Mm-hmm.
So like even if we go back to the movies, like late 90s, right, for the first Lord of the Rings, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like things are more about like the merry band, right?
Yeah.
But like as we've seen with stuff with like Game of Thrones and stuff, we have these disparate. Even the books, right, are written in chapters from a different person's perspective, irregardless of their location, right? It just matters about their perspective, and we can see that reflected in the current Rings of Power, right? Just because, like, you know, characters will cross paths. The reason we're talking about them is because they will eventually, or they're doing something that's noteworthy to, you know, show the audience, right?
And then we got to talk about the Hobo Baggins.
The Hobo Baggins.
Just because, which one are you? I'm just joking around. Like the hobbits, they're basically like living, you know, off the ground or whatever. But you know, like they have their
ground to mouth. Yep.
Very much just like living in the wild. They're not the hobbits we know, right? Because they're half-foots. So they're technically not hobbits, even though they have similar last names that are gonna evolve into hobbits.
So, no, not evolve, because they are. I guess we could say anatomically modern hobbits. It's just that they don't have civilization yet. They don't have. They have culture, right? They have like this. They have like a Harfoot sort of like identity and like culture and stuff, but they haven't like settled because they're nomadic, right? Like because they've even mentioned it. Like they were talking like we're gonna have to move camp again. You know, like they're always on the move, and like eventually they will settle down. Perhaps they haven't found the Shire yet. Maybe that's the thing. They'll settle it eventually and become farmers. And because you'll notice that even hobbits, they have like this sort of like, 19th century British kind of like, landed gentry kind of look about them, right? From the original movies. Yes. And these guys are much more, they look more like gypsies, like kind of like nomadic, and they have stuff in their hair.
With no
like
home,
plants.
Basically.
Right. It's just like tents and like stuff like that and earthenworks.
And I would have to say, not my favorite part of the episodes for sure. Being with the Hotfoots. Was it like, I don't know what it's doing to the story. Obviously it may play out later because they have to take Gandalf, or maybe Gandalf, to where he has to go, where the stars meet in the sky or something like that. Right. But I almost feel like they're forcing Half-Foots into the story just for Lord of the Rings.
I would so this is just my guess. I don't know, but I think what they're doing is they are explaining the origin for Gandalf's love of hobbits.
If he is Gandalf.
Yeah, if the stranger is indeed Gandalf, then yes, then that theory, insert that theory there.
Because it's kind of twisted, right? Because obviously after he uses the fireflies, they die. And also when he arrives, that's when everything goes dark or black, and the ankle breaks when he holds up the twig.
Yep.
So there's like, he might not be Gandalf. He might be the blue wizard.
Right.
One of the blue wizards.
I mean, if I remember correctly, the Istari, the order of wizards that came crashing to Earth.
Well, they came on boats, right?
No, I thought they were sent by the gods. I don't know how they got sent there.
All right.
To be honest, a comet or some sort of weird asteroid thing
or
makes sense, but like, or a boat, or that was the wreckage of the boat. Who knows? The sky boat.
They catapulted him out of the boat.
Yeah. It was a space capsule. Let's be honest.
He's from the future.
Yeah. What year is it? No, okay.
It's October the 11th, and you're at the House of Elrond. No, I'm kidding. Sorry, I'm gonna be quoting Lord of the Rings like crazy. But go. Sorry.
No, so Nick, I remember like in our initial conversations, you were like, "There's too many characters," but like, we need to remind you that Game of Thrones started out with a huge cast of characters,
and they did a great job developing characters with all of them.
Yes,
I feel like that's lacking here, big time.
Interesting. Yeah. I actually think the opposite. I am so already emotionally. I found that by the second episode, I was emotionally invested in most of the characters.
Even Galadriel swimming.
Even Galadriel.
Okay.
So like I've broken it into three main arcs.
Okay. Yes.
Right. And so we have the Southlands arc, right? Which eventually will be Galadriel Halbrand,
yes,
who's the guy that she shipwrecked with. And then
by the way, Halbrand I think is Sauron.
You think Halbrand is Sauron?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because he's going to be disguised. He's going to sneak in. And think about it. That's who she's looking for. He's going to be there the whole time. Watch. You'll see. And think about it. He came from the Southland, right?
He did.
And there's a broken sword up there and a kid who doesn't have a father. What if Sauron has a son? And that's why his blood can activate the blade. It's not, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, there's some weird stuff going on here, but I think that's Sauron. And because remember Sauron, when he goes into the Numenorians, he's this beautiful elf person, you know, he changes, you know, shapes and stuff like that. And as it is, they're already tweaking the lore like crazy. They're already tweaked, you know, so they're probably going to try throwing us all off like, oh, maybe the wizard Saruman, or maybe this person is this person. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the guy right underneath our nose the whole time.
Huh. Okay.
Anyways, sorry, go on about the boat.
No, yeah. So the Southlands arc eventually will be Galadriel and Halbrand will be there. And then we've got Arondir, Bronwyn, and Theo.
So Arondir's the elf
yes,
guard.
He's the guy that was on the tower, and now he's with.
And it looks like they have like Entwood armor.
Yeah, okay, looked cool. Looked like they had like Entwood, or like even like reminded me of the Green Man from Celtic mythology, right?
Yeah,
just those that looks sick.
Yeah, the Entwood armor. Cool. I have a lot to say about his character, though.
Okay,
I just thought, but anyways, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, so the second arc is the Three Rings arc, right? Yeah. So this is about the forging of Narya, fire, Nenya, adamant, and Vilya, air, right? By Celebrimbor.
Yes.
So that covers Elrond, Celebrimbor himself, Durin the Fourth,
yes,
and Disa.
And
right,
he only makes the rings for the elves, I believe.
Correct.
Yes.
There's only 3 for the elf lords. Yeah. And then we have the Istari arc.
Yes.
Which is Nori, Poppy, and the Stranger. Right. I almost called it the Harfoot arc, but I feel that they're going to leave pretty soon.
Yeah.
And like go on an adventure with this stranger.
So it's so funny because I believe they don't have the rights to actually say hobbits.
Makes sense.
That's why they're doing half. And I don't know if they even have the rights to say Gandalf, because technically Gandalf didn't come till the Third Age, and I think they only bought the rights for the Second Age, and like for that one like paragraph they're making this whole story out of. Yeah,
that's crazy that they've got rights for sections of someone's world mythology. Yeah. Right, that's crazy. Isn't
it crazy how it works like that? But I mean, when it comes to mythology and world building, you can't beat Tolkien. I mean, Tolkien, JJR, Tolkien did so much with world building. Like there's so much to pull from. So.
Right. And like, I mean, I just think that, I don't know if we're going to get it in this season, but we're definitely going to the events. If we just consider the events that take place in the Second Age are pretty nuts, right? So we've got the fall of Numenor, which is the human kingdom.
Probably going to be the end of the season.
We haven't even been introduced to them yet. Right. So yeah.
Forging of the rings.
And the forging of the great rings. Yep. So who knows?
Those are the 2 big things.
Yeah, the 2 big
ones. And obviously Sauron taking power. And we got to meet the 9. The 9 kings. Yep. And then the Witch King. So like we're going to have a lot of fun, like hopefully a lot of fun.
Also, discovering all this. that jewel that they uncovered at the end.
Mithril.
Is it the heart of the mountain?
It's either that, it's either a Silmarillion or it's Mithril.
Okay.
Because think about Mithril would be something like, oh, look at this beautiful stone that we can weave into armor, or, or whatever Mithril is. Or it can be the Silmarillion, because they already like hinted at it. Or like, oh, he stared into it in so much beauty and power. So
the Silmarils.
Silmarils. Thank you. Yes, I'm saying the book title. Yeah. Yes.
The jewels of Fëanor.
Yes. So it could be one of the jewels, or it could be the Arkenstone, right?
Right. Or it could be I'm sorry, people in the comments. I'm blanking on the name, but it's the jewels that Galadriel had at one point, or not Galadriel.
Oh, yeah, like the necklace she had.
Yeah. It could be that. I don't know.
The one she gave to Aragorn.
Yes.
Okay. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so we got to talk about what's happening up in the north. Is that the north where the human and elf relationships going on? what would that be called? Is that the North or the South?
No, that's the Southlands.
That's the Southlands. Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you. Sorry, just getting a hold of all of it.
Yeah, the whole.
So in the Southlands, obviously there's a romantic thing going on, which is great. It's like Aragorn, and it's like all the elf stuff we know and love. Elf and human, and then
elf and human relations.
So it just I don't know what it is with the writing in this show, but I don't know if they just think we're stupid sometimes, but there's a city's burning, right? And then they go into one of the houses and there's a hole, and she's like, "Did the earth shake cause this?" It's like, the earth shake there, like, you obviously, like, the town was attacked. And he's like, "It's a hole." It's like, really? And he like throws the thing down there. He's like, "I'm going to go down the hole." It's like, yes, we understand what you're doing. Like, I don't know what's happening with the lines of dialogue. And he goes in the hole to find whatever's down there, right? And then he ends up running from what he finds. It's like, what are you doing? I just don't understand what's going on with his character arc.
Well, for one thing, it's really hard to fight something in a tunnel.
Well, why go that way then, right? Like, you would think if you're like a trained warrior, you wouldn't go in a place where you couldn't like defend yourself. You know what I mean? Like Recon, this guy's, he's been on the wall for 70 years. Like, he's been an elf for 70 years.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he hasn't been fighting at all. He's just been on the tower.
That's true.
Making the rounds.
That's true. But I mean, we're probably going to see some epic fighting from him in this
for sure.
season. But I just thought it was very like, what's going on here? I mean, obviously they want to get him captured, because I think we see later on in trailers stuff, he's like chained and he's like fighting and he's chained and stuff. So
like
Nick,
I'm curious. I want to kind of take us back to the blade,
to
the dark blade.
Yes.
That apparently repaired a little bit after drinking human blood.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of the
creepy
immortal blade. Because so it looked like it was the reverse. Remember when Aragorn's like, he's been stabbed by an immortal blade or something like that, and it poofs away, and it kind of poofs in. So I think it's one of those blades. I think it's like a blade from the spirit realm or whatever it's called, where the Nazgul hang out and stuff like that. So I think it's one of those types of blades, because it can be like rebuilt by blood and cool stuff. But it's just a theory.
Because you were saying that, like, because you thought that he, like, the reason it did was because his blood was special, not just because it was blood.
Well, I mean, it could just be blood because it's like evil, like, only blood can power this weapon, or it's like his blood. You know what I mean? So like the blood, it's like, how like Stark's blood carries a special power in the North, right? Like if you have the blood of Starks, you can warg into wolves or have wolf dreams. And if you have the blood of Targaryens, you can ride dragons. It's like if you have the blood of Sauron, certain black magic works with certain things. Okay. Maybe, obviously, I'm taking a wild stab at it.
Hey, it's
it's not really lore anyways, where we're at right now with the blades and stuff like that. But it's all fun. Like if they're gonna go make like a spin-off of Lord of the Rings, we should be able to spin off theories.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, so and also about that sequence, so the orc digs a tunnel, right? And then he leaves, and then he comes back, and then there's that whole battle sequence, which, man, that orc is so stupid. But so obviously they're being drawn to the sword.
Yes.
Because it looks like Galadriel said, like, oh, this symbol is left as a trail for the orcs to find him, kind of thing like that. So obviously they're probably attracted to anything that's marked. It's like a scent that they can follow. So
you think that they've been attracted to the blade that's been uncovered.
That's why they're attacking that city, probably. You know what I mean? They're like on their way down.
That might be it, because I mean, like, Theo's kept it a secret. No one else knows that he's got it.
And you'll see the orcs will probably keep following them no matter where they go. And if it leads to the city and Sauron's at the city, that means his army's coming towards him, kind of thing, probably.
Huh, okay.
So it's like bringing the army towards him, kind of thing.
Dang.
But okay, I
hadn't thought about that.
So Legolas, okay. Legolas is so light he can walk on snow. Elves have like special abilities.
Right.
But the swimming, that's a long swim.
Yes.
That's a very long swim.
Very long.
And I don't know how a raft got that far out there. I don't know where the raft's at. But like that, I was just like, what? Like, that's incredible that she was able to swim that long.
What leads you to believe that the raft that was their starting ship. It looked like they were shipwrecked.
Well, I'm just saying, but like how far it came out, because like it was one of those things like the Undying Lands or like the wherever they go. It's so far like humans can't reach kind of thing, right?
Yeah, you're like either the ship went way out into the open ocean or Galadriel swam a lot to get back to
which is just like waters. And I get it, like this whole swimming, but that's a long swim. It might have been cooler to see her like turn the boat around like
well, I guess I'm gonna say that maybe this is just showing us how badass Galadriel is.
She's no doubt
epic heroine.
She's strong. Like she's even on par with all the other elves. Like even the book, right? She's like one of the strongest. She comes from a really strong bloodline too of like the elves, right? She's like top 3 elves like of all time, I think, when it comes to strength, knowledge, and all that stuff like that. So I don't doubt that. I mean, but it's just like that's a far swim though. That's a far swim.
Yes, especially in a nightgown.
Right, in a nightgown.
I noticed she hadn't cut it at all. It's just so like it's always you're like a jellyfish. You get caught in your, I don't know.
Yeah, but and I know it's because she had to meet up with Sauron. But that's just my theory. But I'm really, really excited to see where it goes. I'm really hoping the show gets better. Obviously, I am playing around a lot with it, making a lot of jokes. There are some good things. I want to be more attached to these characters. I'm having a hard time getting attached to them. My favorite scene. Can I really quickly?
Sure.
My favorite scene is anything in Moria. Oh my gosh, that was just so much fun. The dialogue. Really cool. I think I finally got to see the actors have fun. Like when I love the couple. They're like at the table, they're eating, they're laughing, they're having like the time of their life. And no, stay. He has to leave. No, he has to stay. Yeah. It was just so much fun. Where I was like, man, I want more of this because everything else just seems so. But that was beautiful. The Moria was beautiful. The comic stuff was fun. I really enjoyed Moria. I really enjoyed the actors in that sequence and everything. Sorry, I keep going.
Yeah, no, it's all good. No, because I was gonna mention that was my favorite one from episode 2, as well as the relationship between Elrond and Durin. Yes. Right. So, because like, I thought that was a really cool point. Is it like, have I offended you in some way? Like when he's going up and he's like, bro, you're an elf. Like you live for like eons and like, our lives are like the blink of an eye. You missed my wedding. You missed the birth of my children. I thought we were friends. And I was like, dang, like, I don't know, like that kind of drove home the point of just like being immortal. Yeah. Right. And just like how like normal lives are just like, then again, dwarves live for a long time, but still.
Yeah, like they live to like 700 years or something like that.
Yeah. But nothing compared to like elves because they're tied to the world.
And they're so much fun. They look great. The dwarves look great. Their accents are great. They're just so much fun. I love that, because they're a cantankerous bunch. I love the stone breaking contest. It's just fun. Like that was cool. It's just fun. It was just like a fun sequence because nothing else has been fun so far for me yet in the season. And that was just a lot of fun. Like, and it's fun to have humor. Like, don't turn me into anything unnatural, you know what I mean? Like you gotta have like the humor, you know what I mean? Like Lord of the Rings brought the humor too, you know what I mean?
It did.
It totally had the humor. It had then again, it was Peter Jackson and he loved the material and he knocked it out of the park. Like I don't know if there's a better trilogy than Lord of the Rings when it comes to like 3 movies. Like I can't think of a better trilogy. Can you? Yeah. I mean, like
not off the top of my head. Then, like, I'd have to really.
It's so funny because like when you think of trilogies like Star Wars, you're like, which one? Like, Return of the Jedi wasn't strong. Like, you know what I mean? There's always like a weak one, and like with Lord of the Rings, it's always like, which one was the best? You're not thinking of a weak one. You're thinking of the best one. You know what I mean? So, anyways, but we love Lord of the Rings here, as you can tell. But I'm kind of happy how they left some stuff vague up in the air. Like we don't know what's going to happen with certain things, even though it's pretty right on the head with Numenor is going to get, if you know the history and the lore, we're going to know the flood of Numenor or the destruction of Numenor. And we're going to see the rings of power. So, which is going to be, I mean, it connects us to the main series, which everyone knows and loves, the rings of power kind of thing. So, but I wonder, I'm very curious when Sauron's going to come in. I wonder if he's not going to come in until like season 2 or 3.
Maybe I wouldn't mind that actually.
Yeah,
to be honest,
because I
mean he is the BBEG.
Yeah,
all right. he has a shard of like Morgoth in him technically, right? Like he's got the remnant power of Morgoth, right? Which is insane.
And he's kind of on the same power level as Gandalf, right? But he got like the shard. Like, aren't they all like the same kind of wizard power level? Because he's not as powerful as his master.
So that's the thing. I don't know, because like the Astari, like the Mithrandir, like they were sent to guide the races of Middle Earth, right? Not necessarily like fight their fights, right? But give them counsel, right? Now they do have powers of their own, right? They're very powerful, but they're more like they sit in council and they're wise, right? And they like deliberate things, right? So like that's the thing, like they're powerful, but they're not warriors technically. Well, Gandalf ends up looking like a warrior, like
he has to carry up the sword. He has to, that's why. Yeah, it's like part of his mission.
He has Glamdring, the foe hammer. So,
yes, the Hobbit. Come on, it's so cool.
Yeah,
Glamdring,
right.
the foe hammer. Remember the Goblin King's like,
this is Orcrist, the Goblin Cleaver. I know that blade. Yeah.
So I'm hoping we get more lighthearted stuff. It was kind of fun having that Jurassic Park kind of horror scene with the orc in the house, creeping through, like the cracks and looking through. That was fun. But yeah, I hope it picks up for me.
Who would you like to see more of, Nick? I'm curious.
The dwarves are there, of course. Meat right off the bone. I want to see more feasting, more laughing. Well, I guess I like when people work together, I guess, especially in Lord of the Rings. Like, if you think about, like, everything Lord of the Rings, it's about teamwork, right? Like, even Frodo, he doesn't get to the mountain alone.
One can say it's about fellowships.
I guess you're right. But even, like, in The Hobbit, right? It's, like, these group of dudes. And then even when they did the spin-off where Gandalf goes to fight, the source of Saruman's power in Agmar or whatever like that, in the movie, it's like a group of 3 people. It's like a power, like you can't do things alone. It's all about, having, people next to you and stuff like that. So I don't know if this is going to turn into a fellowship in the next, we're seeing the fellowship members at different points in time. And then it's like, you are the team dedicated to taking on Saruman or whatever. You have only one choice.
You will be the Avengers.
One does not
of Middle Earth.
I know. One does not simply swim across the ocean, but I'm excited. I really want it to go up. I don't want this money to be wasted. Anything Lord of the Rings, I'll watch even to the end. I'm not like quitting the show. I'm gonna watch it all. If it's the Russian version, if it's the animated version, I will watch it. And
still have to watch the animated Return of the King.
Yes, that's on our list, actually. You know what? That might be a good time to watch now because everyone's talking about Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. But let us know down below. If you made it this far, you're awesome and amazing. But let us know down below what you think. Do you like everything? Are you a stan like Kyle where you just love it?
Stan?
Or you like me where you're kind of very iffy and like, I want more from it? Let us know down below. It's okay if you like what you like. But we're going to be covering it here. And hopefully me and Kyle have talked about doing some lore stuff on Lord of the Rings. Kyle's really into the lore and the world building stuff. So we're going to put that on our list probably to start doing stuff like that. We talked about it many times. Our schedule got very wonky in the middle of the year, but now we're back on track. We are back on track. So subscribe to get all the Lord of the Rings content here. And by the way, we're also watching Primal, which I enjoy more than this show. I know I'm crazy, but I do. And I also enjoyed House of Dragons more than this show too. But
all right,
but that's my opinion, and I'm probably wrong.
Nick, it's okay that you have opinions.
I'm probably wrong, but it's okay. And Kyle, do you have anything to say? I kind of did a lot of the talking at the end.
I'm kind of the inverse of Nick. I am actually enjoying Rings of Power more than House of the Dragon. Just in the sense that we're back, baby. Like I don't know.
It has been a while.
To me, it feels like Middle Earth. Like
visually,
it's got that. Yes, visually, and also I would even say in the score, I feel like there are definitely some like instrumentals that I'm like, it brings me back.
So Howard Shore did the main theme.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, but he's not doing the music. Like he did the main theme, but then like the other people are doing the rest.
He didn't do the suite.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. No, but yeah. So like I'm super enjoying it. There were some great scenes, like when the elves are. Wait, did I mention this live or was this before?
It might have been before.
Okay, yeah. Like my favorite scene is or one of them was where the elves are going to Valinor, like before Galadriel jumps off the ship.
Oh no, yeah, you definitely talked about that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I thought you were talking about something else. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I like to see more of the I'm loving that we're seeing more of the elf places, like the cities, especially Celebrimbor's. I totally am blanking on the name.
His forge or work area.
Erigion, yes, I think it's Erigion. That place, like for the elven smiths.
Yes.
And then we've got the place that isn't Rivendell. Whatever that place is where Gil-galad is.
Well, it's pre-Rivendell before Elrond makes his woodland hut in the valley.
I don't know. The last thing is the environments, the sweeping vistas.
It looks incredible.
Those are great.
It looks incredible.
Those are there was so many of them too that I'm just like, wow. Yeah. Like I get this vastness, right? The Middle Earth.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
Always seems to impress upon me.
No, and it looks beautiful, and it's cool too because you can see how far technology has come from even Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings and what you're able to do. I mean, I think that's why maybe Lord of the Rings has so much character because it was shot on like real locations and stuff like that. Where this is obviously more CG. We'll see how it holds up over time, but it looks incredible. And what's so funny, like story is so important to me. Like even though Lord of the Rings quality of the VFX may go down, that storyline is so good. Like you can watch that with crappy stuff, but just the way the actors talk and the acting, like Lord of the Rings will always be like spot on. And that's what I want out of this show. Obviously I'm struggling with it. Kyle's not, I'm definitely struggling with it. My eyes have not been open yet. It's been closed and sealed, but we'll see. Cause we're only a quarter of the way through. Cause there's 8 episodes. They already released 2. So we're a quarter of the way through. So we will see. I just know that was $250,000 we watched. No, $250 million. $250 million that we watched because it was $1 billion for this first season. So that was like double the price, I think, of the Lord of the Rings budget. So
are you kidding me? I gotta take a seat. Jeez.
Double the price of the original trilogy budget. So we will see what the outcome will be. Follow Pekos on Instagram, Pekos with a 0. He's an amazing, talented artist. He even has some cool dwarf artwork if you go way down in his old drawings. Some of my favorite. And if you go to AsArt.space for all the audio video links, check out our store. We got some cool geeky shirts there. And check out all of our other Lord of the Rings content we're going to be covering here. I like how we're divided on this. I think it's good because I feel like most channels are all one way or they're all the other way. I like how we have the banter here. And Kyle has the knowledge to correct some of my errors for sure when I say certain things like, well, Nick. So we'll get a lot of well Nicks. So join us for well Nicks, and we'll see you on the next AsArt. Middle Earth is back.